Okay, so today what I'm going to show you is what you have to do for your next drawing activity. So first of all, your number one step, okay, is that you need to print off an image from the internet. Now you can print whatever you want, but you need to be really careful with what sort of thing you print. Okay, so this one was printed earlier. I've just gotten it off the drying rack. It's a scene from How to Train Your Dragon. I would probably say this one is too difficult. Okay, there is way too much stuff in that one for you to actually be able to do that properly, unless you've got months and months to do it, which you don't. You've only got a few weeks. Okay, this one here was also printed off. Again, this one could probably work okay because it's an outline. It's simple. I mean, you guys probably think it looks really complicated, but it's still relatively simple. The only trouble with this one is that you can't see any tone in it, so it's a little bit hard for you to know which shades to do what. Okay, this one here has he's already started doing the next step. All right, okay, because he's got a relatively simple image. It's got different shading in it, so you can actually do some stuff with it. Can I encourage you guys as well, you can do photos. You can do photos of animals, but okay, so the next step you've got to do once you get your image, alright, obviously it didn't have all this stuff started before. It was like this one, so I'm going to show you on this one. You need to rule a 1 centimeter grid. Okay, so just remember it is 1 centimeter. Now I start off by doing a box around my object. Now if you just do it by freehand like this, that could work, but what's going to happen is it could end up out of alignment, so you need to make sure every side is the same length, otherwise it's going to mess it up. So I'm actually going to measure it from the bottom. Alright, so I'll go centimeters, it's a bit easier. So I'm going to go 12.5 centimeters because that's basically where that is. Alright, I want to give it a nice little box to make it easier for me to work in. 12.5 centimeters, so I nearly had it spot on. So, you know, sometimes we can be okay with our eye, but look how much I'm out. Alright, you can see that little wisp there. Alright, so from the sides, I'm thinking I want to come in roughly like there and there. So on the sides I'm going to measure in 20 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters, rule that up. We need this box to be really neat. Okay, there's this whole thing of, okay, I've had a few interruptions, but we're good. Alright, so now I want to get the top part organised. So I'm going to go, you know, I'll work it out by eye and then do it 3 centimeters down. You don't have to do the same measurements as me. You basically just want to put a neat box around this thing, okay? Alright, so I have my neat box. Now what I want to do is 1 centimeter. Now, sometimes the boxes aren't going to measure up exactly, so you've got to be really careful of that and always measure from the same side. If I'm going to start from this side here, I have to start from this side up here. I can't just start from that side, it doesn't work. So I'm going to go 1, okay, do it that way, just give it little marks, and then I need to do the same up here. Okay, again, I can't turn it around, and when I mean turn it around, I mean you can't go do that side, do that side, do that side. You can't do it like that because it's going to end up not right. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. Okay, so now I have my marks. Alright, so now, because I've measured this properly, I'm not going to have any issues. Like, all these sides are equal. In fact, that one there is way fatter than that one there. And look at that thinness there compared to that one. So I'm actually going to suggest to do his grid again. Okay, so we'll leave that one be. Alright, once you've got this beautifully done, then you can go ahead and you can actually put your lines in. Okay. Alright, so now I have my 1 centimeter grid around my image. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my A3 paper. Your A3 paper is already pre-organized. I've already printed the grid on this. This grid is 2 centimeters though. Okay, so here's where it gets a little bit tricky. You need to count out how many of these squares, alright, how many of these squares you need for this image. Sometimes it could be a little bit different. So let's have a look. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I have 17 on that one. Alright, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14. I've got 17 by 14. So I need to count those squares out on my big paper. So I'll start with the small side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I'm fine. I actually have enough there. But on the side that has 14, I'm actually going to rule a line because that one's not a full square, so I don't need that. So later on I can cut that off. Okay, and I'll show you what we do with that. So that's 14 down there. Alright, down the bottom here, I don't need that half bit either, so I'm just going to rule a thicker line so I know to get rid of that. I don't need that. I can cut that off later. Alright, so I've got my 14. Now I need 17. So I've got to count out 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17. Okay, it comes to about here. So I'll make sure I rule that line, so it's really obvious where my image is going to be. Now, at this point, you can do two things. Alright, you can choose to cut out this piece of paper if you want. Oops. Okay, so here it is, just a bit bigger. You can choose to cut that out, or you can just do the really strong lines so that you know not to make a mistake. So I'm going to just leave it. I actually do this. Wait up, this is silly. Alright, so I'm not going to cut mine off. I'm just going to do a little bit of a squiggle so I know not to use that part. Okay, so now I have my big paper, I have my little paper. Now what I need to do is make a special window. So I'm going to get a little scrap of paper like this. Alright, and I want it to be a 1 centimeter hole. So I'm just going to put it over here. I'm going to trace a little 1 centimeter box, just like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I want to cut that out. So a trick to cut out a box this tiny, it's like last year, hey? Fold it in half, just give it a tiny little nick, like that. Open him up, put the scissors in, cut your little window. Like so. So now I have a special window. This is going to help me when I'm drawing my image. So now what I'm going to do, just in pencil, I'm going to work out where I want this thing to start. So roughly about here. And I'm going to use my window on my box. Okay, number 1 box on here. There's nothing in it, so I don't have to do anything. So I'm going to put a little dash through there. Now, in fact, if I want to cheat, I'm going to go, you know what, that whole line I don't need to do anything in. So boom, 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 boom. They're all done. Okay, every time you do a box, just do a little stroke through it so you know you've done it. Okay, so second line, I'm going to go, okay, second line down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 empty. But number 6 has an image in it. So I'm going to put my little window over the top of where that image is, and now I'm going to count. How many did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Box number 6 in the second row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. In this box I can see a tiny little bit of a crest from this dragon thing, so I'm actually going to draw it in. Now if I was you guys, I'd draw it in fairly lightly because you might not like what you've got. Okay, next box is empty. In fact, let's go back to this the next whole row is empty. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so then we go to the next row and you do the same deal. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Box 5 has a bit of a sail in it, and we need it to match up with the thing next to it. Now when you're doing this, you need to be really aware of you know, where do the lines start in a box? Do they start in the corner? Do they start halfway across? Right, and the next box over has got a bit of webbing, and this line actually matches up with there, that does this sort of thing. Alright, and then all the rest I don't have to worry about in this line, but I've done those ones. Okay, can you see what's happening? So then eventually I'm going to have this whole thing drawn up. Alright, so I'm going to quickly go ahead and do a little bit more, and then I'll show you what to do next. Alright, so now once you get the whole thing done, let's pretend this whole thing is already drawn out. What you do next is very much like what you did in year 7. Okay, you're going to get your black pen, alright, and you're going to fill in each box, but each box you want to do with a different pattern. So I'm going to pretend that this stripe on this dragon thing is actually, forgot a bit there, okay, this stripe is going to be dark. So each section of the box you're going to do a different pattern. Now if the tone is very dark, so I want this stripe to be dark, you do it really close together pattern. Alright, I'm just going to bring the Ziggy a little bit closer for you. Okay. Alright, so if you want it really dark, do the pattern really close together, and the bits that you want light, you can outline it as well if you want. Bits you want light, do them really open and really light so that you can get different tone, but each single box do a different pattern so that suddenly you get this really cool thing happening. Now you can decide where you're going to put your pattern as well. Some people decide to do it on the outside of the animal. Some people decide to do it on the inside, but I'm going to show you some finished products now, but you'll do this for every single box. You'll just go through and decide where you're putting your pattern. Okay, so now I'll show you some examples of some other ones that have already been done. Alright, so here's one from last year. If you have a little look at this one, she decided to write the words panda in it. You don't have to do patterns. Okay, and on the body of the panda, if you can see that, she actually wrote body, 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 body. I don't know if it's focusing. Okay, but she ended up getting this lovely thing, and as you can see, she then cut it out, and then you mount it on card. You can mount it on black, or you can mount it on a different colour. Alright, so that's that one. Alright, here's another one that was done. I'll just lift up the Ziggy so you can see it better. Alright, so this was another dragon, and they mounted it on orange card. Alright, so it's very similar to what you did last year. In fact, we put this one together because the year 8s last year were a bit jealous. They wanted to do something similar. Okay, this one she did something completely different. She cut out her whole unicorn afterwards and then glued it down. And if you have a close look inside hers, she actually, for all her patterns, she did different food. So she's got pineapples, cupcakes, watermelon. She's got all sorts of stuff in that. Okay, some more examples. Okay, this one, this guy decided to put his pattern on the outside instead of the inside. I think that looks really effective as well. In fact, that's pretty groovy. I like that one. So, you know, there's a few different things you can do. These ones, they actually wanted to do their pattern in pencil. That is okay, but I think it looks better. Sometimes I think it looks better with the pen. So it's up to you to decide whether you think it looks better with pen or pencil. I personally like the pen because it doesn't smudge. Here's another one, it was a bear. Okay, the image that you want to find can be whatever you would like it to be as long as it's appropriate. Okay, so you guys can choose what sort of image you want. yeah, it's completely up to you. But that's what the finished product looks like. This is just how you start, and you guys will be fine. Thumbs up. Alright, into it.